The Legends of Paul Bunyan. Long before highways stitched the states together and before towns had names anyone could agree on, the northern forests of America were so wide and wild that even the rivers sometimes forgot where they were going. Pines stood shoulder to shoulder like giants at a meeting, and winters arrived early, stayed late, and laughed the whole time. It was in those days that Paul Bunyan was born. No one ever agreed exactly where he came from. Some said he was born in the woods during a blizzard so loud it shook the stars. Others claimed he arrived already grown, stepping out of the fog one morning with boots the size of cabins and a laugh that sent snow sliding off mountains. What everyone agreed on was this: once Paul Bunyan showed up, the land itself had to adjust. As a baby, Paul cried so loudly that geese fell out of the sky, thinking it was thunder. His parents, who must have been made of iron patience, built him a cradle out of oak logs tied together with ship's rope. Even then, Paul grew so fast they had to move the walls of the house outward every week. Before long, they gave up and let him sleep under the open sky, using clouds for blankets and hills for pillows. It was during his early years that Paul met Babe the blue ox. Babe appeared one winter so cold the snow turned blue from freezing solid. Babe was a calf then, shivering in a drift taller than most trees. Paul scooped him up with one hand, warmed him with his breath, and set him on his feet. From that day on, Babe stayed blue from the cold and loyal from the kindness. Together they grew, Paul taller than the trees, Babe longer than a freight train. When Paul became a lumberjack, he didn't do things halfway. He cleared forests the way other folks swept floors. His axe was so sharp it could split a hair floating in the air, and when he swung it, the wind rushed ahead to watch. Babe helped by pulling logs in bunches so large they became rivers of wood sliding downhill. Paul's lumber camps were something to see. The cooks flipped pancakes the size of frozen lakes, and Paul used entire forests just to make toothpicks. When the men complained about the cold, Paul stomped his foot and made friction warm the ground. When summer got too hot, he chipped a breeze out of the sky. Not everything Paul did was on purpose. Once, while dragging his axe behind him after a long day's work, he carved out what later became the Grand Canyon. Another time, Babe tripped, and the deep hoofprints filled with rainwater and turned into the Great Lakes. Paul apologized, but folks were secretly grateful, they'd been needing fresh water. Paul wasn't just strong, he was fair. When settlers moved west and needed land cleared, Paul made sure forests were thinned, not destroyed. He left groves standing for shade, animals, and quiet thinking. He believed the land had a say in things, even if it spoke slowly. As the years passed, machines grew bigger, and people grew smaller in comparison. Steam engines started doing work that once took 10 men. Paul watched quietly, leaning on his axe, while Babe chewed grass that tasted more like history than food. Paul knew his time was changing. One morning, after a sunrise that painted the sky like a farewell letter, Paul hung up his axe. Some say he headed north, where the trees still whispered his name. Others believe he became part of the land itself. His footsteps turning into valleys, his breath into wind, his laughter echoing in thunderstorms. Even now, when forests creak in the night or when a lake freezes so solid it turns blue, people say that's Paul Bunyan and Babe the blue ox, still at work, still watching over the land they helped shape. And if you ever hear an echoing laugh rolling across the hills, don't be afraid. It's just a reminder that America was once so big it needed a giant to help build it.
Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of video, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video.